Good morning, everyone. It's day 5 of our informational series. So Dixie Belle Paint has taken over this group this month. This whole month, you guys get Dixie Belle Paint. And they asked me, my name is Brandy from Brushed by Brandy. If you guys don't already, please go follow my pages. I am on Facebook, on Instagram. I have a ton of videos on YouTube. So go give me a follow if you enjoyed these videos. So this week, every day I have been live doing an informational series. And today is our final day, grand finale day. Yay! You got 5 days of makeup on Brandy in the morning, and this is the last one, I swear. And I'm sure you guys are saying, that she has makeup on? Don't be a jerk. Just kidding. No, today is day 5. It's the last day of our informational series, and today we're going to talk about brush care. So I'm standing in front of my brush cleaning station. I showed you guys this on Tuesday. We're out in my workspace. I'm going to raise this up a little bit so I'm not cutting my head off so much. This is out in my garage. This is my brush cleaning station. Now I'm going to go through and I'm going to show you guys some of my favorite things that I've got out here in my brush cleaning station. So number 1, scrubby soap. Who uses scrubby soap and loves it? Number 1, it smells like heaven. Like you could eat this. It's delicious. And it comes in a bunch of scents. So this is an orange. This is lime. Lime tends to be my favorite. But it comes in orange and lemon and lime, I think. Dixie Belle carries this. So when you're ordering your next Dixie Belle order, throw one of these in your cart because they're fabulous. I have 2 on my brush cleaning station. I have a nasty, gross, dirty one that I use for my brushes. And I have a clean, nice one that I don't mind putting my hands on. Hi, Solly. Solly Lewis, you guys, Dixie Belle is going to be working with Solly Lewis and offering, can I say it, Solly? Can I say it? Am I allowed? I think I'm allowed. Tell me. So I have 2 scrubby soaps on my brush cleaning station. I have a hand soap, just a liquid hand soap dispenser. I have a dish soap and also in a dispenser. I just think this is easier to use when my hands are messy. So a hand soap and a dish soap. And then I have a dish soap concentrate. Now I can't say it. Dixie Belle is going to be offering you guys Would You Bend moldings. Do you guys know what Would You Bend is? They are appliques and moldings for your furniture pieces. They are paintable, stainable. They heat or they bend when you heat them. Would You Bend moldings are going to be available through Dixie Belle. I'm super excited. So I have dish soap concentrate. I use Dawn dish soap. Don't get the cheap stuff from the dollar store. Dawn cuts grease, right? We've all seen the commercial where they clean the duck with Dawn. It works the best. So don't waste your money on cheap dish soap. Just get the Dawn. It cuts grease. And we'll use that in a minute. So I keep things out here like bowls. So number 1, yay, yes, Megan. Number 1, when you don't have time to clean your bowl or clean your brushes right away, I will fill this bowl with water, throw my brushes in it. Keep an old gross sponge out here. A scrub brush, if I ever need to. This isn't necessarily for brush care, but if I need to clean things off, like say, you know, my spatulas, sometimes the paint dries on them and I need to clean that off, I use a scrub brush for that. I keep a nail brush out here. I don't like having nasty, dirty fingers all the time, so I use this a lot. Even if I get paint up onto my wrist or anything, I will scrub it with a nail brush and it all comes off. So I like to keep my manicure top notch. I have this little gadget here. This, you guys, is a baby bottle drying rack. It's from Target. I think it's made by Munchkin. But if you see one of these, grab it because no matter where you clean your brushes at, this is great for drying them. So most brushes have a hole in them and I will hang these to dry. But some things do not. And I can stick them in here to dry on this baby bottle drying rack. And you see how nicely it holds them upright so all the water can drain out of the brush or whatever it is. And then this comes off. So I can just clean the tray periodically. You do need one of these. I see them all the time on Facebook Marketplace. And so this is great for drying your brushes. Oh, I can set my, you know, my application sponges. I can just set them on top of here and they will dry. So then over here, I've got this, and I usually hang my brushes to dry. So this is just a kitchen setup from IKEA, and it comes with these hooks. Let me show you the hooks. I have some extra ones here. So it comes with these little hooks, and they, what's this called? Fin torque. They have the weirdest names. Hi Trisha, good morning. Hi Sarah. These will slide along the hanging bar. You can even use these on just a regular towel bar if you want. You just get one of the skinnier towel bars and you can put these little hooks on. And then when my brushes are drying, I just hang my brushes right here. So these have all been cleaned and now they're drying out. You need a link. I thought I put one on the post from yesterday, but yes, I can, Toya. I will come back on and I will put it on today too. And then I have this basket here also hanging, and I use this for things like I can put my application sponges in there to dry. I could really set anything on there that maybe won't hang, or I don't need to stand up in this little, in my baby bottle drying rack. I will place it in that little basket there. This is also from IKEA. This whole setup is from IKEA. And it's made of bamboo, so it doesn't get the moisture damage. And I can set things in there to dry that don't have holes to hang, or I can't stand up. So you guys made me use brushes yesterday because I didn't need to. I wasn't painting this week, and I saved them last night in Ziploc storage bags. If I plan to use a brush again, I will do this. I put it in a Ziploc bag and I'll put it in my refrigerator overnight. I don't store them any more than overnight because the paint will start to set up no matter where you put it, and I don't want to mess my brushes up. So if it's just overnight, I'll put it in a storage bag and I can come back tomorrow and use the brush. The reason I do that is because a brush can hold a lot of paint. So if you have to use that same color, instead of filling your brush up with paint again, store it in the refrigerator overnight in a storage bag. I know, Molly, how are you doing today? I saw you had some stuff done to your back yesterday. So I saved both a natural bristle brush and one of the synthetic bristle brushes from Dixie Belle in a baggie last night, and we're gonna clean them today. So I'm gonna bring you guys in a little bit here. You guys aren't gonna see my face, and I'm gonna point you down at my sink. I'm pointing you down at my sink, so you guys aren't gonna see my face, and I'm gonna take one of my brushes out of the baggie. So this brush is full of paint. I used it for the brush rack is awesome. I used it for 2 coats last night. Now I could either be pulling this out of a dish of water because I didn't have time to wash it right away. So I just take a dish of water out with you guys to your workspace and have it with you all the time so that you can just put your brushes in there as you go. And then you can carry that in the evening or when you're done back to the sink to clean them all. So this was the one we're going to be cleaning today. Another thing I have out here is this little silicone mitt, is a, what can you do if you forgot asking for a friend? We're going to cover that too. This little mitt is a makeup brush cleaning mitt. So you can get these at Target, at Ross or Marshall's in the makeup brush section. Anywhere that sells makeup brushes is going to have one of these brush cleaning mitts. It has little teeth on it, little silicone teeth. And I love this because instead of running my brush on my hand, I can run it over this mitt to clean it. So we're going to clean this brush right now. So the main thing I use is water. The first thing I'm going to do is rinse my brush out with water, and I'm going to spread the bristles around and start working some of this paint out of it. There's a lot of paint in this brush running out of my sink. So this is a synthetic bristle brush and it just has paint on it. So I'll work out this with my hand. Hey, I forgot to show you guys something, so hang on, I'm gonna set that down for a second. I have brush combs. So, it sounds silly, a brush comb. A brush comb, I have 2 different kinds. This is actually a 5-in-1 tool, but I use it for the brush comb because I like the thicker teeth on it. And then I have this one here. Now once I've worked a little bit of the paint out with my fingers, I'm going to come back and start brushing my brush with my brush comb. And I try to get my brush comb up here close to the metal on my brush so that I can pull any paint out that might be settled down in there. The Dixie Belle brushes clean fabulously well, you guys. It's one of the things I love the most about them is they clean amazingly well. So here's what I compare it to in my own head. We just built a house, so I'm just combing the brush out. So if I've only used water on this. And then I'll work it out with my fingers. I'm looking at the water to see if the water is running clear. Okay, this brush did not have any stubborn paint on it. And so then I'm going to shake some of the water out as much as I can into the sink. And this is my cleaned brush. You guys saw how much paint it had on it. That was just with water. So there's a couple little spots like right here, but if I've got stubborn paint on it, like maybe it's started to set up close to here, then I will use the scrubby soap. So I'm going to give you that as an example. I don't feel like I would need it on this one. This one I would stop at just the water and I would hang this up. But if you've got some stubborn paint on your brush, I take my wet brush and I keep this nasty one in the container and I just rub my brush into the scrubby soap. Get a little bit of the soap on it, and then I'll take my brush mitt and I'm going to massage that soap into my brush. I like the scrubby soap because it doesn't leave your brushes crusty or firm at all. So I will just take it and work that stubborn paint out of wherever it might be. Again, I don't feel like this brush really needed it. That paint came out pretty easily. You have my stainless backsplash. Yes, I just picked up so this whole setup here, let me tell you guys what my brush setup is. The stainless steel was just a cut sheet of stainless that I got for like $10 off Marketplace or Craigslist. This whole sink, I think we paid $25 for the sink with the integrated counter in it. And then I got a used bathroom vanity, and that's what I put it on. It was about the same length. This countertop is like 60 inches wide, so it fit a bathroom vanity good. So then I will just, once again, shake my brush out. So where did you get your brush rack? Which one? This one here, Elaine? This is from IKEA, and then the baby bottle drying rack I had from having babies. No, you can get those at Target though. Target carries those. I think they still have them, but otherwise you can find them used all the time at thrift stores, at on Facebook Marketplace, and they're great to have. So either one of those. IKEA, most of the setup is from IKEA. So Dixie Belle brushes, here's what I compare it to. We just put carpet in our house. Dixie Belle brushes are made of synthetic bristles. So I compare that to the synthetics in a carpet. You know, synthetic carpets clean better than, say, if you have a wool carpet, you know it's going to be tough to maintain, tough to clean. These are made of polyester and nylon bristles. Nylon is known for being spectacularly easy to clean. So these clean really, really, really well. You can see how loved some of my brushes are. I tell how old they are by what the handle looks like. Yeah, that one's stuck in. There we go. Okay, sorry. So you can see this handle looks terrible. I've used this brush a lot versus this one here that might be a little bit newer. You can scrub the handles. I don't necessarily worry about it. This is where the paint is most likely to get crusted first. So this is an older brush. It's got some spots of paint in it, but these have cleaned fantastically well. This is not misshapen or disformed at all compared to my newer brush. So then I will just hang my brush to dry. That water will drip out. That one's already dry, so I'm not going to hang it. Okay, so natural bristle brushes tend to be harder to clean. So remember what I just said about wool, your wool carpet's harder to clean. These are not wool, but natural bristle brushes are a little harder to clean. But I use one because I wanted to be able to show you. This is the Belle brush from Dixie Belle. And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to work out whatever paint I can with the water, just with my fingers. Has a lot of paint in it. And then I'm going to take my brush comb. Remember I said I like this 5-in-1 tool because it has the thicker. This one's great because it's pointed on the end, so I can dig it in if it's really crusted. I can dig that in between the bristles, but otherwise I much prefer this one. And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to brush out these bristles with my brush comb. You can use your fingers if you like, but I like how that brush comb So then I will take my brush and I will stand it up in the water with my brush comb separating the bristles and let the water get inside the bristles. Kind of spreads them out so that they don't clump together and get paint stuck in there. And I'm watching my water to see when the water starts running clear. That's how I'll know that I've gotten most of the paint out of this brush. I'm still pulling paint out. These are a little bit harder to clean. They just take longer. So I have not used any soap on either one of these. Again, if I have stubborn paint or some that's a little bit dry, I will just use a little bit of my scrubby soap. So if I'm not sure, I can take my brush cleaning mitt. Yeah, I'm still getting some blue out of there. Can you guys see the blue water that's still coming off my brush? So I know I've still got paint in my brush. So I'm working my brush out with this little mitt here. Just kind of brushing it back and forth on the teeth. Where do you get the combs? You can get the combs in the brush section at any hardware store. So go to Home Depot, the aisle that they sell the brushes on will have brush combs as well. Shake the water out as much as I can. And this is a great example of a brush that doesn't have a hole in it, so I wouldn't be able to hang this one. I need to stand this up in my little rack. So that's it. So I didn't use soap on that either. Now we're going to talk about wax. So Dixie Belle waxes are water-based, so they clean easier than most, but they still have wax in them, so they're harder to clean. So I've got a few just small wax brushes here, and they're gunked with wax. I don't clean my wax brushes every time I use them. I clean them every, say, 2 to 3 times. Dana, the mitt is from like Target or anywhere that sells makeup brushes will have a makeup brush cleaning mitt. It's for cleaning makeup brushes. So I'm going to take this and we're going to clean a wax brush that's gunked up with wax. The Dixie Belle gilding waxes are oil-based. So this is the process for cleaning anything that's oil-based, I'm going to say. So the first thing I'm going to do is get my brush a little bit wet, get a little bit of water into it. And this is where the Dawn dish soap is important because we want to cut through grease. So I just place a little bit of Dawn dish soap onto my brush cleaning mitt. I like the more concentrated one versus this foaming one for this. And sometimes it may even take another drop or two. So then I'm going to take this brush and I'm going to work it into that dish soap. Now it's getting gross on my mitt, but I'm not going to rinse that out because I still want that soap to be working the wax out of my little brush here. So I'm working it into these teeth. Okay, and then I will come back and I will rinse my mitt because now it's all nasty, and I'm going to rinse my brush and see what it looks like. This is where I can assess, okay, do I need to do that again? So I'm going to say on this one has so much wax in it, and I'm going to do it again. So I just place another drop of dish soap. Same thing. So this is what it looks like after the first round of cleaning. So I've got the tips are pretty clean, but I've still got some wax down in here that I want to get rid of. Minerals, you know what, Isabel, we do have mineral spirits in California, but we have odorless mineral spirits. So it's a different formulation in California, but you absolutely can. I'm in California too, and I buy mineral spirits all the time. You can get it. It's still at the hardware store. So notice my soap this time around is a lot less brown than it was last time. So if you need to soak your brushes, you absolutely can, or your wax brushes, you can soak them in mineral spirits. But I just wash them periodically with a little bit of Dawn dish soap. So my soap is a lot less brown. I'm using just cool water right now. I'm letting the soap do the work, but hot water will soften it too. So, and then I'm going to come up here with my fingers and just clean around. Yeah, I'll use my fingernail and kind of get that off. I've just got wax that's stuck around the metal part here. Okay, I'm going to use my brush comb, brush it out. Make sure I got all that soap out of there, because if you leave soap in your brushes, they will get crusty from the soap too. Okay, now this is what it looks like afterwards. I've still got a little bit in there. I could do it again, but I feel okay about this. I'm going to use it for wax again. So I'm going to leave this. I feel like this is pretty clean. I can feel it with my hands that it doesn't feel crusted at all with wax. So I would leave this and use it again. So I'm going to do another one. This is another, just a little wax brush. As you can see, it's got gold on the tips. I've used this for gilding waxes. So same thing, I'm starting with my clean makeup brush. I'm going to get a little bit of water into my wax brush, and I'm going to start working that wax out. You can see right away, it gets super nasty. Starts getting, I've got dark wax in here, some gilding wax. I'm just using the teeth on here. That little brush, those little ones are from Waverly makes them, Plaid makes them. They have them at like Joann's. I think Walmart has them. I like those for like gilding waxes and stuff. And they actually come in a set. Here, I'll show you. These are two different brands, but they come in a set like this, a fat one and a skinny one. And I love these. Let's see, do you have a tutorial on using wax or the gilding wax? Yeah, I do. I mean, they're mixed into my other videos on my YouTube. Go to my YouTube channel. Okay, so this is what my mitt looks like after the first round. I'm going to rinse this out and see what my brush looks like. If you're just using these like one time and washing in between, you may not need to do multiple rounds. Yeah, this one wasn't as dirty as that last one. So I'm using my fingers. I can feel on this one that I probably only used it one time, and it's pretty clean. Like I can feel with my fingers it's not gummed up with wax anymore. It doesn't have that sticky feeling. So that's just the Dawn dish soap and the makeup brush sponge. And then this one, the hole's probably too small for my hooks, so I'll throw it in my rack and we're good. So that's pretty much it. So we cleaned a natural bristle brush and the synthetic, and I just used water, the scrubby soap if you need it. Somebody asked about if you leave your brushes overnight. If you accidentally forget your brush in the garage, it gets dried with paint on it. Let me show you guys what I use. Hang on. Okay, so if your brush gets super dried, it's got paint on it, you can't get it off. I don't have one like that. I try not to. I've only done like 2 times where you have a lot of problems with bristles coming out. So what you should do is every time you get a new brush, before you use it, wash it and work the bristles out. Because just in the manufacturing process, some won't get as attached as others. Synthetic brushes are less likely to lose bristles than the natural bristle brushes are. So before you use your brushes, wash them and let them dry and pull out any that are loose and not as attached. And then you won't lose them while you're painting. So if you leave your brush out and it dries, what I do is I'll take a little dish. These are just, you know, little plastic dishes from the dollar store, and a little bit of Dixie Belle White Lightning. Put this in here. White Lightning is a granulated formula. It mixes into water, and then soak your brush in that mixture overnight, and you can come back the next day, brush it out with your brush comb to get rid of the crusties, and then you can clean it like regular, and it will soften that paint back up. When you soak your brush, you never want to soak your brush any further than just the bristles. So just your tips should be in any water anytime you're soaking your brush in water. It can get up here into the metal and it can gather and you'll see some brushes have rust on them. This is stainless steel, so it won't rust. Do I prefer natural or synthetic? Great question. So I use synthetic brushes for laying paint on and for blending. They're softer than a natural bristle. Let me grab a natural. Okay, these are the redesigned with Prima natural bristle brushes. So these are a lot more coarse They're firmer, they're packed tighter into the brush itself, so the bristles are a lot firmer. So I use these when I want to lay paint on smooth, no brush strokes, softly blending. They're much softer. I can feather paint out with these. I use natural bristle brushes when I want texture and brush strokes and a coarser bristle if I'm working paint out or working wax out, because these have tension to them. So each one has its purpose. I use more natural bristles or more synthetic than I do natural, but these do have their purpose. A lot of people like laying paint on with the synthetic. I'm not one of them. I prefer laying it on with a lot of people like laying paint on with a natural bristle brush. I like laying paint on with my synthetic. Yeah, white lightning will loosen that up. I've heard soaking your brushes in, like wax brushes, soaking it in Murphy's oil soap will loosen up the oil-based products too. Now, one thing I'll say, there are certain products that I won't put down my sink. We are on a well and septic system where we are. And so everything that I wash down my sink is going out into my, leach field. So if I've got something super nasty like citrus strip or, Dixie mud, they say you should not wash your Dixie mud down the sink because it can re-dry and harden. So I have a gravel pit outside. So just a hose bib with gravel underneath it, and I will wash those out in a gravel pit. Now our well is 300 feet deep, so there's nothing better than dirt to filter your water back out. So I know it's not getting into my groundwater, but there are certain things you want to be cautious about putting down your sink too. Let's see. So yeah, there is absolutely a difference in hardware store brand brushes like the Purdy. I used to use the Wooster shortcut brushes. Here's what I noticed. I don't have any of them anymore because they don't last. So for short term, inexpensive, you're only doing one product, one project, they might be okay. But if you're long-term, you want to get good life out of your brushes, there's definitely a difference in spending a little bit more on a Dixie barrel brush than using just the Purdy or the Wooster brushes. They don't clean as well. They don't clean as well. My Wooster brushes that I still have are hard, and so they just I haven't gotten the life out of them. I just haven't gotten the life out of them. They work great for a time or two, but that you get what you pay for, right? No white lightning and septic. That may be. I mean, this is TSP. It's true. There's trisodium phosphate in here, so it's not on the label. I would have to find out about that for sure. But yeah, if there's products that you're concerned about putting down your drain, then definitely I go outside and I wash those out in a gravel pit. Dump them out in a gravel pit. Don't dump them down my sink. So yeah, you get what you pay for. I know I started out with Wooster too. If you go to my old videos, I was using Wooster brushes. Now all I use are the Dixie Belle brushes. I wish and I hope someday that Dixie Belle gets some awesome synthetic or natural bristle brushes. But right now I use the Redesign with Primo ones. Okay, some ears perked up. Septic? Yeah, we are on a septic system. Okay, you guys, so I hope you thoroughly enjoyed this series. I feel like there's a lot of information in here that we don't normally talk about. There's five pieces to this now. If you go back through this week in this same group, you'll find these videos. I will now take these 5 and get them up on my YouTube channel as well, so you can refer back to them easily. I'm trying to read your guys' comments before I get off. So if you guys enjoyed these, please go like my page at Brush by Brandy. And like I said earlier this week, the way you reward the artists that come on and give you valuable information and videos you appreciate, use the affiliate links you see out there, you guys. Dixie Belle has a great team of artists working for them that put out great content for you guys on learning everything from painting to brush care. So reward them by using affiliate links if you feel inspired by them and appreciate the videos out there. Thank you guys so much for watching and joining me this week. I will be sleeping in next week, so I really enjoyed this too. And I'll talk to you guys later. Thank you.